Hello, welcome to English Buddhist Terminology. Today, we'll look at the term cause and effect. A question: what do we do when things don't go our way? Or what can we do when we feel hopeless about life? Think about it. Why don't things go our way? If things don't happen according to the way we wish them to do, there are several things which we need to think about. Has our plans been complete? Or do we have enough relations with the people around us for them to want to help us achieve our goals? These are the things which we need to think about. And this has a relation to the term that we're discussing today, which is cause and effect. For thousands of years, the moral standard of Chinese society has been protected from its generation, thanks to its people's strong beliefs in justice is out there, and good begets good and evil begets evil. This principle of reward and punishment is what Buddhism calls cause and effect. And in fact, the practice of Buddhism itself is based on this law. Imagine if the teachings of the Buddha does not help us improve our lives, and then there's pretty much no point in learning about this religion. In fact, the practice of Buddhism itself is based on this law. And imagine if the teachings of the Buddha does not help us improve our lives, then there is pretty much no point in learning this religion. The law of cause and effect lies at the center of Buddha's teachings. They are involved in karma, they can be recognized in dependent origination, they can be found in impermanence, no self, and emptiness. Okay, now let's look at the term cause and effect itself. Cause and effect, it consists of two. First, there is the cause. Second, there is the effect, or the fruit, or the results. And to put it simply, it means all things are caused. Therefore, the fact that all things are caused, which is cause and effect, it is the basic rule of existence in this universe. The cause of formation of all things in this universe is their potential to be created, while the effect is these things coming to be. And nothing in this world that comes into existence can do so without a cause. That's why it is said that one reaps what he sows. This is the most obvious example. And this is also a very obvious demonstration of the relationship between cause and effect. So if you plant a melon seed, you can only get melons. You can never expect to get mangoes or apples. And it's not just plants that grow according to this rule. All other non-botanical phenomena are also the same. Since cause and effect act as the law of existence in this universe, if we go from nature to the many lives that live within, and from heavenly bodies to fine dust, none of these can escape the law of cause and effect. The workings of cause and effect encompass everything in the universe and are the birthing ground of all conditions, be it in the past, present, or the future. If there was no law of cause and effect, then we wouldn't be around. There would be no us. There would be no improved life. And there would be no enlightenment to achieve. And most people tend to avoid this subject of cause and effect because they don't want to think about what actually happens to them. And they don't want to think about that what actually happens to them is their own responsibility. Okay, before we go on to the Buddhist perspective and the non-Buddhist perspective on cause and effect, let's take a look at the relation of cause and effect to our everyday living. Some of the examples can include the following. A cause can be hunger. Hunger becomes the cause of you to want to eat. Therefore, the result or the effect of your hunger becomes eating. Or when you're cold, this cold becomes the cause of you wanting to put on more clothing. Or the cause of day. A day could be the cause of night. Because there is day, there is night. But at the same time, night can also become the cause of day, because day is what follows night, and so on. And other examples include, say for example, human beings' desire for exotic food. It becomes the cause of extinction of certain animals. For example, tigers or bears. If human beings continue to eat their parts of their body, and then one day these animals are bound to go extinct. So this desire becomes the cause. And at the same time, the extinction of certain animals can still become the cause of something else. For example, it can cause an upset ecological system. Quite recently, there has been an outbreak of rats in Hunan in China. There are millions of rats running around the fields because of a flood. Why? Why are there so many rats? It's because the food chain has been broken. The Chinese people like to eat exotic food. They like to hunt snakes. And snakes are exactly what eat these rats. And without the eaters of these rats, then these rats are allowed to grow and multiply at a very fast pace. As a result, the people in Hunan are now having trouble dealing with millions of rats every day. And this would be quite a horrific scene. But if we were to think very carefully about this effect, what had caused this effect? It goes all the way back to the human being's behavior. Therefore, we can say that it's the human being's behavior that had caused this upset ecological system. And another example of cause and effect could be what we are experiencing in the current moment. In other words, our current circumstances come from our previous actions or even previous lives. So this is also a demonstration of cause and effect. And in fact, nature is showing us lots and lots of examples of cause and effect that we can see around us every day. And take the butterfly effect as an example. It has been said that the butterfly effect is an illustration of sensitive dependence on initial conditions. Therefore, it is the notion that the flap of a butterfly's wings in Brazil might set off a tornado in Texas. And this was presented in a lecture by Edward Lorenz to illustrate the impossibility of perfect weather prediction, even if all known causes and effects could be measured. But at the same time, it still presents a relationship between cause and effect. Something happens on this side of the globe could cause drastic changes on the other side of the globe. Another example could be the El Niño effect. El Niño is known as Christ's child, or the little boy, because this effect happens around Christmas. And it usually happens in the Pacific Ocean off the west coast of South America. And basically, the El Niño effect is an abnormal warming of surface ocean waters in the eastern tropical Pacific. And what happens when there's warm water? It will cause thunderstorms or even limited food resources for fish. It could even cause forest fires and drought in the western Pacific and flooding in South America. Once again, this is a relationship between a cause that happens on this side of the earth and the effect that could take place on the other side. There's also global warming. What has caused global warming to result in the El Niño effect? Let's think about it. The cause could be human beings overlogging the trees, overlogging the forests, or the fact that they are emitting too much carbon dioxide in, say, the cars that they drive, or in all kinds of daily products which they use. And by causing too much carbon dioxide to be emitted into the air, yet there's not enough trees or plants to absorb this carbon dioxide. And then effects such as global warming and the El Niño effect could happen. The human behaviors become the cause that results in the effects of all of these disturbing environmental changes. And in fact, if we are said to be the causes of such environmental changes, and we understand that this is the working of cause and effect, then it is time for us to understand or to realize the need for us to also make other changes in avoiding or reducing such bad environmental changes. And in Time magazine, they have provided 50 things which you can do to reduce global warming, which are possible causes which human beings can create or make to reduce the bad effects or create better effects. Some of the examples include covering your pots while cooking, because it says doing so can save a lot of energy needed for preparing the dish. And if you can even use pressure cookers and steamers, they can save around 70% of the energy. Or people are urged to take a shower instead of a bath, because a shower takes up to 4 times less energy than a bath. And to maximize the energy saving, sometimes we even need to use what we call low-flow shower heads, which are cheaper and provide the same comfort, things like this. And it also says that we need to be sure that we are recycling at home, as it tells us that you can save 2,400 pounds of carbon dioxide a year by recycling half of the waste which your household generates. And other options include reusing our shopping bag, planting a tree, or buy fresh food instead of frozen food. All of these to help reduce providing carbon dioxide, or what we call encouraging global warming. These are some of the examples which you can take into account.